Board of Water and Wastewater Commissioners at the Harwich Water Department at 196 Chatham Road, Harwich, Mass. On Thursday, June 8th, 2023 at 11:32. We have no executive session, no public comments, announcements. The consent agenda for the minutes for May 17th, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's no old business, move on to new business. So again, superintendent's evaluation. We have the employees' feedback forms. Before we leave, we'll get the evaluations. So we can have that for our June 22nd meeting. Any questions about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Healthy Lawn Happy Summer mailing.
All right, so I have some additional material to pass out today. We had a little issue with the town's been updating Munis, so we had an issue getting the data dump, but we were able to get it this morning, so I was able to get a sampling together. So the front spreadsheet, so what we did is we have about 1,500 known irrigation customers. So as this kind of test run, we focused on the accounts that we know have irrigation. So for what you have that I just handed out, I just isolated 5 of the irrigation customers just to give you a flavor of kind of what the mailing looks like. So each of the 5 attached feedback forms, if you look at the bottom left, there's a, the first one says 0 on the bottom left, 1, 3, 4, and 6, and those correspond to the index number on the front spreadsheet here. So you can see, the address, city, and the summer usage. So this is what the big export from the Healthy Lawn Happy Summer Toolkit that DEP provides spits out as a mailing document. So this is kind of the first time we're seeing it with Harwich specific data. I think we could stand to probably change the image here so that it looks more like a Cape Cod house here, but this is ultimately what the program generates for distribution.
Noreen?
So you're saying that, I'll just say streets, that doesn't hurt anybody. Braddock Lane is going to get the first one, and Cranhaven is going to get the second one?
Yeah.
They're going to be somehow stuffed?
Yeah.
By
That I'm still have to work through.
All
So,
right.
yeah. Because, and what I discovered when I ran through this exercise is, we have a lot of second homes.
Yeah.
So the address field in the database, I need to adjust. That's the reason there's no 2 and 5.
Okay.
Because the mailing addresses for those were like Wellesley and Andover, and if at the top where it says Harwichport, it says their mailing address city. So I do have to go back and tweak some of the database to make sure that it's all consistent. But
so, I mean, so what's the difference between, so are these are 5 different forms here?
yes,
Okay,
and they all correspond to the usage here in the table.
okay. So, I mean, what are we, I can't read this that fast. What are we trying to tell them with?
So just like, when you see on your electric bill, right?
Right.
The comparison of your usage as compared to your neighbors and your efficient neighbors.
Right.
So this data set, when you import it, it evaluates and establishes an efficient household water use, an average household water use, and then compares your water use to the average and efficient.
So this where it says you is going to change for each address?
Exactly. And if you look through, you'll see the Y bar, the gallons, you can see it actually changes. So the first one goes up to 80,000 gallons.
Oh, okay.
Second one to
All right.
60,000. So they are property specific.
And, okay, so we're just kind of telling this house that, you could do a lot better.
Yeah.
And before you said you separated like the irrigation ones from the...
So when we exported the water use data set from Munis, we have a field in the software that denotes if there's a known irrigation system.
Okay,
So, we have to export 5 quarters of water use data. So if we were to do that for the 10,000 plus customers times 5 quarters, we're looking at, an incredibly large data set. So for this first mailing, we were thinking of, focusing on our known irrigation customers.
right, they're the worst, yep, I agree, being one. Now, when this says date, so this is only 1 quarter?
The usage here is, yes, that's the summer quarter usage.
Okay, all right,
Per month. I'm sorry,
So-
that's the monthly usage. So if you actually go into the raw
Okay.
data set for the Braddock Lane property,
Right.
you really have to multiply that usage by 3 to get the total quarterly volume. But the software breaks it up to a monthly
okay.
usage amount.
So we're saying that a house on this first street uses about
76,000 a month.
a month, which is about, I can't do it, 100,000? No, what is it? 76 times 12. Well, it
Well,
wouldn't
it's
be.
not, not.
That's
it's
right,
not.
yeah, yeah. All
On
right,
average, it'd be 3, because it'd be the summer months,
Right,
on average.
right. So, but I mean, to me, that seems like an incredibly large amount of water for a household.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exact, that's why they got the
That's why
frowny
you get the frowny
face.
face. You see the frowny face?
Just seeing if I was getting along the same, and even if these are monthly, then all of these people aren't doing too great.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
and I, that was intentional. I was hoping to get all frowny faces for this,
It's
exercise.
too bad that we can't see a dollar amount, though, of what it's costing them.
Well,
Yeah,
at least it starts some thinking.
I like the idea, though, and I'm curious as to how you
Yeah,
may
no,
be
yeah.
able to incorporate
Yeah.
that. Because if we can say not only you can do a lot to conserve water,
This is
you
what
can
you're
also
saying.
save this much by conserving
Yeah.
water. So that if I can do a little homework and figure out how to incorporate
Get it
that.
into the tier, multiply it times 3
Yeah.
and get it into the tiers.
And then
That's
have it, if I can, I'll think about how to do that, but
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Well, actually, for this real bad guy and his friends, it seems like anybody that's going over 40,000 or over 15,000, depending on how you look at it, is gonna be kind of easy, because they'll
Yeah.
all be, in one tier,
Yeah.
But, okay, so, but everything else on the page is the same?
Yeah,
All right.
and there is also, and I guess what I'm still trying to put together is, one, how many, what our target audience is gonna be. When I ran this export of the 1,500 irrigation customers, the program automatically takes the top 15% of whatever data set you bring in. So it's intended to be like a targeted mailing. There is other mailing materials in there. The way that the program, as presented by DEP, is intended to go is you're really supposed to start in March and do a introductory postcard mailing, and then follow that up with a second mailing, and then this feedback form.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, in my opinion, the most important thing is this
Anything
feedback
that wakes
form.
them up. But, so using as the basis, or however it pulled on this chart, September, most of us irrigation people stopped using our irrigation on August 1st, completely. So, if you're gonna compare me to last year, I'm gonna look great last year. You know what I'm saying?
Not entirely.
Okay. Because, so the quarter went from July, August, and September.
Yeah.
August 1st, I shut down my irrigation, never touched it for the rest of the year. So I would think, even though I had been a high user before I mended my ways,
Yeah.
I would think my usage would be very low, because I only used it for, other than, household business, I only used it for 1 month out of the 3.
And in that instance, you likely wouldn't make it into that top 15%
Right.
the program filters out. So, if we ran everything, town-wide, you would likely have been dropped from the data set.
But I'm thinking there's probably a lot of people like me, but maybe they learned their lesson, so they don't really need
Well-
to
Well, I think this is targeting the people who haven't learned their lesson.
Right, okay,
That's what would, because I
yeah.
mean, we could just send out, we could send this to every single water customer, but
No, I know. Yeah,
that's just a
yeah,
waste of
yeah,
trees,
yeah.
because
So this number pulled from which month? From the third quarter divided by 3?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
It's not a direct, and what is unfortunate is that, the program's provided to us, and it gives me a template to input the raw data. I
Mhm.
click a button and it spits out another database that then gets brought into the program to generate these forms. It's not a direct, like when I multiply the 76,000 for this first customer
Yeah.
times 3, it's like 6,000 gallons off. I don't know if the program is trying to reduce out consumptive use, but it's pretty consistent that there's a small gap between,
And you can't pull for July only?
no.
Okay, all right.
In the program, it doesn't give me an opportunity to go in and see what's happening behind the scenes.
So many of these people actually used a lot more water?
Yeah, I mean, this person used, I think it was 213,000 gallons for the quarter.
Okay.
And this program
But this
saying-
is a real number, this is the quarterly number, the 76.
This is the export from the program. The real quarterly number is this times 3.
Okay. So I'm sorry, say that again?
So, the first customer here, let me
Right.
just grab my phone so I can do the math. Alright, so
Okay.
76,037 times
Yep.
3 is 228,000 is what they
Yep,
approximate quarterly reading. When I go to our actual reads, for this one, I think it was like 234.
all right, well,
So it's-
yeah, I'm not,
Yeah.
okay.
And this is, I think it's just the way that the program's set up is to try to capture it on like a month-to-month basis.
Okay, thank you.
But I guess for next steps, I still, this was based on a test run that I was able to put together in the last hour, being able to get the data set. So now that I've kind of worked through it once, gonna go back and clean up the database and try to expand out and get kind of a more total anticipated mailing and put together how we're gonna get envelope stuffed and all that sort of stuff. But
Is this going in with the bill? No.
this would be a separate
Right, which
mailing.
seems like, and did you say it's gonna actually say their address somewhere?
Well, so if you notice, one says Harwich, one says
Right.
Harwich Port.
Yep.
That's based off the zip code in
Mhm.
our database. So it will say Harwich Port or Harwich or West
Yep.
Harwich.
Okay,
The issue that I ran into with this first test run was that for people with mailing addresses in different towns,
yeah,
it
I got
was saying,
that, yeah. All right, so this is what it's gonna say,
yeah.
yeah, all right. Well, we wanted to get some stuff out to people early in the year, so,
hopefully when they see that, they'll, start thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think people seeing dollar amounts, that
Yeah, I like that.
much more effective. Well, not that that isn't, but it's a step.
Yeah.
This is all trial and error to me. This is just a
It-
work in progress.
it's almost like, too bad, you almost couldn't have the stacks, like, have them be in ranges, so you could say, you used, about 500, that cost you about 500, like everybody that was 55,000 to 70, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Here's the,
over.
yeah.
Yeah, if it could group them almost into ranges, then you could
Save me a
calculate it.
little.
Yeah.
Save me some Excel time.
So, we're gonna send these to about 1,500 people, you said?
Well, the data set that went in was 1,500, and after it filtered everybody out and took, its data set, it was about 452 that it,
Okay.
you know,
So just
generated these
500,
for, yeah.
I think it's a great concept. I mean, if I got, or if I get this in the mail, you never know. It would make me start looking at a lot of things, that's for sure.
I mean, when I get it for my electric bill, honestly, I see it, and I'm always way higher than my neighbors, who all have way bigger houses
See, we
than me,
don't
so-
get that. I don't get that from my electric company.
do.
You know?
I get the chart that shows me what I did other years. I don't see what my neighbors do.
Yeah, I get separate from my bill, every so often I get a mailing
A
from
mailing.
the utility that says, you know, this is how you compare to your neighbors.
Yeah, it's just like that, the 3 bars.
Oh, I've been being left, believe me, I would have opened it if it said Eversource.
Maybe
and,
you're one of the efficient
that-
houses.
You
so
know
that-
what? I probably
Flag.
am. I have very low, I
bet
probably,
that's-
on mine is probably get the
You're
smiling
not,
face.
you're off the list. I'm on the mailing list.
I'm on the list.
I'm on the
Me and
list.
Gary are on the
I got
list.
the smiling face.
Yeah, not
So they
me.
don't mail it to me,
Yeah.
so.
I get the frowny face. So,
Okay, well, that's great.
we're inching forward.
Just, if I could, do we have a bill printer yet?
Yes.
Okay.
We did do a procurement, and my understanding is that the agreement has been signed, and we're pushing forward. We
So-
are still dealing with some headaches with Invoice Cloud, Munis utility billing, some growing pains with the updates that we're still dealing with, but
So we'll probably have no stuff up for the normal bill.
correct.
Yeah, okay. Is that like a lost opportunity, I wonder, for the average? I know you're doing 100 things, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, it's what message are we trying to get out, right?
Right.
You know, not to jump fast forward to next year, but, you know, when we develop these, it does give you an option to input or change some of the graphics.
Yeah,
It would be nice next year, once the Lothrop Lawn project is kind of in full swing, if we can use that, you know, graphic
right, yeah.
and info material on here.
yeah. I guess I'm just thinking of perception from the town. You know, I wonder if that's a lost opportunity for the first bill in July, but, you know, because they won't know about,
Right.
like I didn't know about your electric, you know. I don't know, I don't have any brilliant suggestions, but, if I think of one, I'll call you.
Yeah, and we're in a tight, you know, with the
Yeah, I
bill.
know.
and
Well, that's
getting
what I
everything
mean with
set
the
up.
bill, and maybe it's better not to
Yeah.
mess with the bill stuffing.
Yeah, we're
No,
kind of,
No, I see what, I think this should stand alone.
It is,
Gets its full attention.
yeah, it is. I was talking about all the other 9,000 people that won't get this, and was that a time to just remind them, turn your water off,
But they're
but,
not the problem.
well,
Like you, not the problem with electricity.
yeah, that's all right, yeah. I mean, everybody's a problem to some degree. It's just
Yeah.
not as bad a problem, you know.
there can always be more conservation.
Yeah, and I'm not a problem to Eversource because they love taking the money.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, when Dan and I first started talking about this, I said, you know, we do a mailing to all, how many thousands of customers we have.
Yeah,
And then Dan said, well, like, we can, but that's a lot of trees we're gonna kill.
right, yeah.
And let's target, you know, the higher user, which,
I believe in
Yeah.
targeting irrigation, you know, I mean, you saw that out west, they cutting back construction. I mean, I think outdoor water use is gradually gonna disappear from our lives.
Yeah.
Maybe not so gradually, but, so, all for it.
all right, Water Department 5-year capital plan.
So I think we have a few more years in here than 5, but the one that we've been working on has gone out to 2031, so I've kind of kept that as our out year to project to. What's included in the packet today is kind of a revamped version of what we had looked at the last meeting. I did move projects from the capital plan to ongoing and open projects. For example, the Phase 3 Route 28 water main replacement, so I've moved those over to the second document in the packet. So what we're looking at now would be fiscal year 25, looking out to 31. And I included, just tried to put a little bit more information on the vehicle replacements, and also looked at vehicle replacements out to 2031. So this is a more comprehensive list than we had previously. I did remove the $10 million water main replacement project that we were hoping we could get in infrastructure bill money for, that we're likely not going to get. So for next year, oh, also, sorry, I have some additional information. So I had the John Deere rep came out this week to look at the existing backhoe and provide us with cost estimates for a straight replacement of the backhoe and 2 options for loader replacement, to replace that with a loader. So I just got these this morning, so I haven't been able to update the figures in the packet for the capital plan, but the larger loader, the one that we actually were able to demo a week or so ago, is the top one in the packet, which is currently estimated at $215,000. The next size loader down is $184,875, and then a straight backhoe replacement is $169,075. We are working on trying to get the smaller 344 loader in to test it out, because we don't know until we get an opportunity to try it. But these are conservative budget figures for what we'd be looking at in FY25. With respect to the loader, the larger one or the smaller one, I guess for discussion's sake, you know, we've talked about trying to do more in-house with water main projects and things of that nature. If we are going to try and keep heading in that direction, it would be more advantageous for us to have the larger one. Would be my only input.
Noreen?
Well, quick answer to that is, in this economy, I'd say get the best one you can now, because you probably won't have another chance when the prices go up in 10 years from that. But I have questions about the plan. That's okay. Just going by the rules of the capital plan, because August is, you know, right around the corner. The way I looked at this compared to what we talked about last meeting, and hopefully I had the right version of the capital plan, tells me that you'll be on the Pleasant Tank Lake. You might be lowering that. That'll be up to you. You'll be increasing the backhoe and the vehicle groups. The pipe discontinuity was the same. So then, as far as I see, for the town's capital plan, you'll only be adding 3 items. One would be the little Ford truck, and one would be the upgrades and the water upgrades, which have always been there. Oh no, we just have to add them on. So,
Are you saying the water upgrade, the well 10? Is that the one you're referring to?
yes,
The 3.5?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I see. Wait a minute, I lost my, where is the, in this one it says distribution upgrades.
Is that the 10 million?
No, not the 10, the 1.5 that was in 26, so now 27.
So we still have the discontinuity upgrade in 26 for 1.5,
Where is it? I just can't.
right underneath, right above the Ranger.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, yeah, above my line, yeah. Okay, so that's for 26. So the 3.5 Is that like part 2 of the well exploration?
This would be for, and yes. So, well, this is really kind of the final step, depending on how we want to do the project. I had requested of GZA, the firm that is doing the well did the first phase of the well exploration, to give me a cost estimate for what the related construction would be. What I can say is this 3.5, I don't believe includes the cross-country water main component that we talked about that goes from well 10 to headwaters.
Oh, yeah.
This is to simply to construct the new well, install the final well casing, pumping equipment, to do the well 10 filter plant, to add new filter vessels, assuming that well will need filtration, and then the distribution system connections to tie the new well in from its remote site into the plant and get it into the distribution system. So they had given me an estimate of $3 million, and that was probably about a year ago, so I did add another $500,000 for good measure.
So when we were doing the exploration, so this is a well 10 upgrade, but the exploration was in different areas?
Yes, at the well 10 area.
Okay.
So this new well is, you'll still pull into well 10 to get
Right.
there, but this well is out back in the woods. So we'll have to install the well, run the electric utility out, run a water main back to the plant, and then tie everything in there.
So this would be like well 10A. Well 10
Yeah.
isn't going to go away. We're going to
Correct.
upgrade well 10, and then we're going to add another well in that same area,
Yeah.
which will be
Well
numbered.
15.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. And so then the other item that we're adding is the water upgrades of 1.5 million in '28. And that was on your original, our original, and you had written space building garage.
So that was, when we had the MTBE hit here a couple of years ago, it's believed that I'm speculating, but the only place I can think that came from is our equipment, just being on premise.
The MTD,
MBTE, methyl tertiary butyl
Okay.
ether. It's a petroleum
thanks, Dan.
byproduct.
Yeah, okay.
We had just trace amounts show up, but I attribute that to our, construction activities on the site. So in order to remedy that and get, machines and equipment out of the elements, one thing that we could do is put a space building with
Okay.
adequate, floor drains and tight tanks so that we're not, runoff isn't getting into the ground here.
That's all right.
That's not to say that this can't go away.
I'm just trying to identify them. It said, oh, I see, when you said HWD, you meant here.
Yeah.
All right, well, I didn't know that, okay.
So, one thing I kind of tossed out there and certainly doesn't need to be ironed out today is, we're at some point in the near future going to have to rebuild the Route 39 tank.
Right.
There's opportunity there also to try and shift some of the equipment out of here, but I think we're all on the same boat that we do like our location here at 196 Chatham Road. So if we were going to intend to stay here, it would be my recommendation to keep a space building in the plan so that we can try to get everything out of the elements.
And just to finish, so your estimate, I'm going back to the 3.5, they're saying that we can upgrade well 10 possibly and construct a new well in the same area for
Yeah, so-
3.5?
It's well 10 water treatment plant upgrades. So what I mean by that is if you go into the treatment plant now, there's 2 of the green sand filter vessels. Depending on the water quality of the new well, we may need to add another of those filter vessels. So that's the well 10 upgrade that I'm
Right.
referring to. And the new well is, well 15 that's gonna be out
Right,
on the
and
same premise.
See, I guess I don't have any idea what it costs to build a well. I mean, that's really, I have to do a little reading on that.
The well itself, I wanna say is probably only $250,000, to actually
Really?
install the big casing
Wow.
and the equipment. A lot of the, it's hundreds and hundreds of feet out into the woods, so we're gonna have,
Okay.
water main
Yeah,
installation, a lot of other
Yeah.
incidental costs that,
Mm-hmm.
that go into it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Will that well 10 have any kind of an effect, negative effect on the others in the area?
So that is part of the prolonged pump test, which is the next phase, which we just got funding for at this past town meeting. So
Okay.
we have to do a, week-long pump test where they'll monitor, is it Hinckley's Pond that's right there? And all the adjacent water bodies to make sure there's no impact.
Yeah.
And the same is done for well 10 itself. So they do evaluate the impact.
Everybody's coming to my neighborhood. Just, okay, thanks very much.
So Dan, this backhoe front end loader, the 444.
Yep.
Or I guess I should say we're gonna try to get the 344 here, right?
What's that?
We're gonna try and get a 344 here. But do you see any issues with that? Reaching into the, with the front end loader, will that reach up into our truck?
Yeah.
Or how would
Yeah.
that work?
Both of them, yes, both of them fully able to load, yep.
So we're looking at $30,000 difference in price.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
Hey.
Trying to chase them down for a couple of days, so.
you know where
He
to
won't
find
return your
them.
calls, will he?
Huh?
He won't return your calls.
No answering machine.
Oh, no, answer machine, he's on a Rolodex.
He
Calls
probably,
that hang up.
he probably doesn't have the number that I have any longer. It's only 30 years old.
Does it start with letters?
So again, that 344,
I have to tell you, he's the longest serving newspaper reporter that I've ever known.
I like the line when they say about him, he still uses the same technology that he used 30 years ago.
Never fails you.
Sure.
Sorry.
that's all right.
Ah,
Tier PT shirt backhoe. All right.
So I just can't believe it. It's, this equipment is from 1998. Man,
Yeah, the backup.
yeah.
That was the year of my first car.
I was gonna say, we should have it, if it's older than Dan, we definitely get rid of it.
Are they gonna give us 16,000 for it?
Give the Dan test.
Listen,
The saving grace is the low hours.
we're at that point now,
I know.
just goes to Joe.
So Jen, that 344 would also be registered and driven on the road?
Yes. The big difference between the 344 and the 444 as described by the rep is, the 344 is in the compact class of loaders versus the 444, which is considered a full-size loader. The big difference in them is the 344 has a hydraulic hydrostatic drive, where the 444 has a real transmission, which is better for,
And what does DPW have?
they have Volvos. They purchase Volvos because they have a faster over-road speed.
Which we don't have to worry about that.
No. And they have the big loaders.
Yeah. All right.
So you're gonna go for the 410, is that?
Well, I got the quote for the 410 just as a,
Oh,
comparison.
okay.
If we were to replace the backhoe in kind, this is what it would cost, just so it's, we're not, I guess I look at it different. If a backhoe only cost 100,000 and the loader cost 200,000, I think that's a bigger discussion,
Okay.
in my opinion. But
Yeah.
where the backhoe's 170, the smaller loader is 184, and the larger one's 215, I think where the prices are a lot closer. I guess I just wanted to know for,
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, with the lifeline there, I think it's time to act.
So that, if we did do the space building, that's not something we can put here, right, because of the wells, right?
we can. Because it's directly related to the water operation, they would allow us, as I
Oh.
understand it, to put a
All right,
space
'cause I
building.
thought because it was within the vicinity of the wells.
They want us, well, the space building, yes, but I would say the dirt dirt piles, spoils, things like that, I think we need to find a home for.
And that's where the front end load would be then?
Probably, and that likely could find itself up at the 39 tank
Right.
area.
Well, because if we're gonna get a front end loader to do yard work, and all the yard work's going over there, we'd
Right.
have to go that way.
Yeah.
And then, where are we gonna house that over there?
Could drive it back, or it could go in the base of the tank, like the P Lake tank.
Oh, the new tank?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But that's if we make the decision to have two separate places of headquarters, of more than headquarters. If we decide to move this building, which I hate the idea of, but if we decide to do that and have everything in one place, we might find a location where we have the equipment and our headquarters, like for instance, the transfer station
Right.
area. So that's looming till we know more about Dennis maybe, or other factors.
Yeah.
Do we have that much room over on 39?
Yeah. That our parcel actually, if you're looking at our tank, the house to the left, if I'm not mistaken, our parcel actually even wraps around to the other side of that
Yeah.
house
Wow.
there and goes way back. Is it John Joseph?
Yeah,
make
John
sure-
Joseph
yeah.
over
Yeah,
there.
it goes up
Yeah.
and abuts, because I've had people on John Joseph reach out because, trees need to be taken down or they're moving their shed, things like that. So we have a pretty big swath over there.
That house, that was Elliott's, was the people that were there for years, right? No, is it the next generation owns that? No, I
I'm not sure.
wonder. 'Cause they
But we
have-
also do have if we do have a portion of the operation over there, if it's earthwork or whatever it may be, we do have direct access from here through past
Right.
Thompson's Field across the street there, so it's not, we wouldn't necessarily have to be on road with equipment all the
Right.
time.
Well, we got time to beat that around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And the open ongoing projects.
So this, I guess I had to get it all out of my head, I had to put on paper. A lot of these you're familiar with. I included, like I said at the start of the meeting, the projects that were just funded at this past town meeting. Some of the other ones that have kind of been going on behind the scenes, we've been replacing the backwash lagoons at the Cahoon plant. We were able to do that internally for about $14,000, including disposal of the sludge and replacement of washed sand in those lagoons. I've seen those projects advertised north of $200,000, to have bonded contractors come in to do it. So kudos to our crew, and we were actually able to use the demo 444 loader to do that project. They gave it to us for a week. DPW lent us their staff and trucks to haul the sludge up to Bourne landfill. So some good coordination by all. The well 7, we are expecting the generator from the insurance claim to arrive this month. I was able to confirm a date of June 22nd, so we should be getting that generator at least pad mounted this month. I'm sure the electrical upgrades will take us into July. Well 7's vertical turbine replacement. I spoke with the well driller yesterday. They're expecting to be out here next week to finish working on well 7, so then we'll have all 14 wells back online. Beyond that, we have our T1 and Station 8 generator replacement. We have a bid opening next week for those two. Another project that is needing to get started is the Great Sand Lakes designer selection for the collection system design. I understand that the town did receive the $616,000 from the county, so we can start moving forward with that designer selection process. The Lothrop lawn project, the gutters are up. We have the rain barrel. Met with or discussed with Sean a week or two ago. They do want us to get another barrel and an outlet installed on the outside of the building to provide pressure for the irrigation for the lawn display we're doing there. So that's still in process. And I recently just reached out to the appraiser to start getting appraisals done for the Route 28 water project and the Phase 3 wastewater project for pump stations and private roads.
Dave, what's the $2 million for Colebrook?
So that is that's the amount that the town appropriated back in, when was that, 2017? So there remains about 1.7 there. I actually today am going to be posting the advertisement in the Central Register and on Combuys on behalf of HCT in the town. And that's what
I just don't understand why that's here though. Is that conservation? Is that?
Yeah, I'm looking to pass the baton on that project.
Oh, this is what we've been talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, so again, why do we have this? It's a great project.
I know. I can't see emails go unanswered.
Right, it's a great project, but why is this falling into your lap? I don't understand
I
this.
can answer that.
Please
We
do.
needed someone to oversee it going through the process.
That's right.
Right.
Said well.
And, you know.
All right, we talked about this already,
yeah.
so you know all right, you talked about this already, okay. I didn't realize it was $2 million you were, okay. Noreen?
I love this list. I'd love it even more if I got me the original so I could expand the font, but that's beside the
send
point.
it to you.
That's just a hint.
I actually printed it on 11 by 17.
Oh,
but
okay.
in the packet, it only printed
See
out.
what I got. But, just one little question on number 14, the effluent recharge investigation.
Yes.
I have this weird memory. I didn't think that you could carry encumbered funds beyond, a year from June 30th.
It's an article, you can.
This wasn't.
It wasn't an article.
Oh.
But I tried to look it up this morning in our enterprise funds manual, and I couldn't find anything of it. So I think maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not positive.
Right.
And we haven't had anyone in the finance office
I know, that's
for some time.
that's the issue.
So our
Yeah.
new finance director did start last
Right,
week.
right.
You'll be doing that next week.
Yeah, I need to catch up with her before the close of the fiscal year because we have a number of items to
Right.
go through.
All right, I'm just
But-
gonna leave that there. And my memory on that issue could be wrong. I mean, because if you have a purchase order and you still haven't done it a year later, what do you do?
Right, and-
So it's probably fine, but since that came out of encumbered funds, it just popped out for me. But I love the list. I just can't believe how many there are that you put. This is just for current and ongoing, not future, nothing spread out, just Dan's week.
Try not to get overwhelmed.
I know. All right, this is great.
That'll keep you busy.
Yeah, $80 million worth of projects.
Yeah.
Certainly keep me busy.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else for this?
One more.
Sorry.
No.
department fleet replacement schedule.
So Steve has talked to Kyle over at Highway, who maintains all the vehicles for us. You know, when we had talked last, it was, 10 years, we want to try and replace vehicles. But now, after having some more discussion with him, it's really a combination of three factors. It's age, mileage, and availability of replacement, repair parts, things like that. So, when we look at some of these, for example, the 2014 F550, I can't in good conscience recommend that for replacement in this year, which would have been 2024, with 53,000 miles on it. I think we still got plenty of life left in that. So Steve and I sat down and went through kind of our whole fleet and tried to project out, based on mileage, age, what we anticipate to be a reasonable vehicle replacement plan. These are what is included in the capital plan that we discussed under the previous topic.
I couldn't get them to match.
What's that?
Well, for instance, you have a total of 214,000 on your capital plan.
Oh, these are miles.
Oh,
Which do you go with?
It's the average mile.
Which do you go with?
prices.
You're adorable. If we're spending that kind of money on vehicles, we're gonna be changing some stuff around. God.
Well, that's why I was worried they weren't on the plan.
Yeah, so we're,
75,000 is bad enough as it is
Yeah.
for a truck.
Okay, so these three
are those three.
are those three. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna
And
embarrass
just-
myself any further.
No. But just, like, so, an example too, right, so we just got this Explorer, right, this 2013 Explorer for Steve. Steve's been driving
Yep.
that Explorer, and we already have it on the list to replace it, which I'm having a problem with that.
You mean this
This one.
item
right
here? Oh, okay.
So that's the Explorer, right?
Yeah.
That's what Steve's driving.
Right.
Because Steve gave up his truck to Josh. Josh is
Okay.
driving, what do you call it?
Jay. And Josh is driving super
Jay-
truck.
The what?
Josh
Super
driving
truck.
super truck.
Right. So we just got this Explorer, and we already have it on our list to replace it, which I have a problem with that. But if you think about it, right, we're looking at replacing that in 2 years from now, and the truck that we ordered for Dan a year ago
Right.
won't even be in until next December.
I got an update.
Oh, wait a second.
So we ordered two trucks. Mine was the V6. The second one was the V8. We got an update last week that the V6 one is going to be made the last week of this month.
Wow. But originally it was December. It was 2 years.
First week of December.
It was 2 years.
The V8's still out that
2
far,
years.
Yeah.
So,
So stay with this one
Yeah.
for me for a second.
Yeah.
So this one is not one of these?
yes, down right there, your hands on it,
Oh, okay.
the Explorer. Or to replace it with a 150 crew cab.
Okay, I got you.
So I had a problem with that, because we just got this vehicle.
Yeah.
We're already looking at replacing it, but even if we wait till 2025, we may not even get it till 26, 27.
Right.
It's just, everything's pushed
The
back.
lag is,
Everything's pushed back that far. Well, they kept telling Dan, oh, the truck will be here in December. Well, December came and went, here we are in June. He keeps calling about it, like, oh yeah, December of 2024. But no one ever said 2024, they just said December, so that's how far back we are,
Yeah.
so.
Do we need a new vehicle for the new position?
Well,
That's gonna be the,
it tells you that you have to give yourself 3 or 4 years advance order time in order to, have any kind of a schedule before you start paying a fortune for the old one.
yeah, which vehicle were we using for the,
the Ranger.
The Ranger.
Instead of trading the Range Room, we were gonna roll that to the sewer position. And then we do have the Ranger slated for replacement in FY '26.
Yep.
And I would say, just look back at what I put on the plan. So I put Ranger replacement, replace with TBD.
Yeah.
What I need to look into, as part of the Phase 3 contract, we're gonna be looking at including a tow-behind generator. So that should be able to be towed by whatever vehicle the assistant superintendent is using. So depending on the weight and,
A tow behind generator? Would that be for the pups?
Yes. Could be used in both water and wastewater side. We have emergency pigtails, we call them, on the,
That's John's.
He's not here.
Well, I'm gonna leave it there, so when he comes in, just checks there, that's there, I'll leave this for him.
I don't think we should leave these here. I'm sorry.
In the middle of the meeting, in the middle of the meeting.
So-
I love, what was I saying?
generators, the
Oh,
tow
yeah.
behind generator.
So the tow behind generator is for if,
My intent is to have it spec'd so that it would be able to power any one of our facilities.
okay,
Treatment building, well house, wastewater pump station. We're setting them all up. You know, they all have standby generators, but
Right, right,
as
right,
we've
right.
learned, sometimes those fail.
right.
So this is gonna be a backup to the backup, if you will.
Okay.
Emergency backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
That works.
Okay.
So depending on the weight and, you know, everything it needs to tow and haul. I think also, you know, whether or not we want to consider if that vehicle needs a crane. You know, the vehicle cranes that can lift out submersible wastewater pumps.
so where's the tow behind generator on the capital plan?
That is going to be funded with the Phase 3, as part of the Phase
Oh,
3 project.
Okay. Mark,
You like that?
I do. All right, so that's everything.
That's enough.
Superintendent's report.
All right. Gary, you had asked me the other day, so I just wanted to put it out there. We currently have 150 sewer customers online and increasing daily. We have, I think I mentioned earlier, but well 4 and well M2, we were able to get back online beginning of this month. A couple pending things. I am looking to do, we were approached by a wireless carrier to looking for an RFP for mounting antenna on the Route 39 tank. I coordinated with legal counsel, because in order for the municipality to enter into a lease, it needs town meeting approval. I was able to confirm that the way in which the original town meeting vote was taken enables us to go back out to issue an RFP without having to go back for subsequent town meeting authorization. So I'm going to be trying to get a bid or an RFP put together so that we can get additional carriers on the tower. I'm also working on putting together a procurement for grinder pumps for people in the Phase 2 area. Also spoke with legal about that. We have some funds remaining available from the original Phase 2 construction appropriation, which legal has said that, you know, those are applicable to use for grinder pump purchases. So I need to work with them, or I need to put a bid together for that, and then work with legal to establish a kind of release of liability document that when the town furnishes the grinder pump to the resident is taking ownership of it and releasing the town of any liability associated, or future maintenance associated with it.
One on that. So far, I don't know how many there are, there's 24 or whatever that will need grinder pumps. Is this going to be the kind of question where, since it's going on their property, even though we'll provide them, where people will say, well, wait a minute, you know, I did some research on this, which many of them did, and, you know, I wanted an ABC grinder pump, and now you're giving me an GHI grinder pump. And eventually, I'm gonna probably be paying for the maintenance myself and whatever. I don't know if this needs more.
Yeah, well, it's a good question. Now, I wrestle with this a lot myself. You know, the town of Chatham is, I don't know if they've formerly standardized around E1 pumps, but E1 is the more commonly used grinder pump. I think what we establish as a sewer commission within our regulations are minimum standards. You know, pump head, flow rates, things like that. I guess I would say, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good
Yeah.
answer for you.
Neither do I. I'm just thinking,
I mean, I think we as the town, you know, we are comfortable with and,
right,
you know, recognize E1 to really be an
Yeah.
industry standard. there are other options. I think we have to put a bid out, and whoever, whether it's E1 or it's Myers or a different brand, I think whichever one provides the most advantageous price that meets the specifications is
Yeah.
what we, due to procurement laws, have to go with.
You're right, and then we'll have uniformity.
Yeah.
Which is great. I don't want to get into this whole topic now, but at some point, probably the Board of Selectmen will have a topic on how they work out. If we give them to them for free, how the maintenance over the years and continued
Yeah.
issues will work out.
Yeah.
But that's really for them to decide.
Yeah, I mean, I think, at least my hope is that the town's position will be, here's the grinder pump, it's
Right.
yours.
Well, would we connect it?
The connection, the homeowner has to
Is
pay for
part
the
of the-
connection.
Okay,
So we would provide the grinder pump, the homeowner would have it installed by their sewer, service installer, and then they would take ownership of it
Right.
and be responsible for maintenance or replacement moving forward.
and if I say to you, I don't want your free one, I want a pink one, and I'm gonna get my own, then,
That's well within
Okay.
your right to do so.
It's okay,
yeah. Because from that point on, the maintenance will be by them.
Yeah.
that's good.
I just don't know that we can accommodate maintaining them in-house.
Oh, I don't see how we
I-
could, it just seems like we're gonna have to have, on paper that when we hand them the pump to say,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
sign off.
So I actually emailed administration this morning.
Yeah.
I spoke with Giorgio this morning on the subject, and that's basically what I discussed with him, is we
Right.
need to iron out a document that spells this all out. So
Okay,
that,
great brains, I love it, already at work, thank you.
and I guess lastly, I just want to put out Scotty, our longtime electrician. He's been with us since 2007. He is retiring, and he is going to be his last day officially on July 21st. So I just want to publicly recognize and thank him for all of his time. He was much more than just an electrician. For us, he was a carpenter, jack of all trades, master of one, being
Yeah,
an
he really
electrician.
is.
But he's been with us since 2007. So I just,
He's gonna be very difficult to replace.
Yeah.
He's a true asset.
Should we consider the board writing a letter of thanks and appreciation to the gentleman?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
With a smiling face all the time. Yeah,
Well, yeah, he just came in and
great.
did his job every day.
I mean, I
above-
think-
He went above and beyond, always above and beyond.
yeah,
As do most of the people here. I mean, truly, but
Right.
Scott is gonna be very difficult to replace.
yeah.
lastly, I did speak with Megan, Assistant Town Administrator. I had provided her the job description for the Assistant Wastewater Superintendent's position. I believe she said she was near complete with, I don't know what it is that they're doing with them up there, and then it's to the unions to determine its placement. So I think and hope that we're getting to a point where we can look to advertise that job.
Good.
That's all I got.
Mr. Thompson, Commissioner's report.
I'm good.
Noreen.
I do have 2 items. One, I just wanted to mention that I was shocked to see how much the pumping was down from this May to last May. It was down like 30, now I can't find it, but I guess it's
Is it here?
not in this one. It was on my computer, which I didn't print, but it was down like 30 million gallons. And the temperatures were similar, and I just couldn't figure it out.
Oh, we're up 30.
Oh, okay, depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, up 30. We were at, last year,
Right,
60,
right.
65 million this year.
Yeah, but it
95
didn't
million.
seem, I mean, if you look at the temperatures and the amount of rain, they're not far apart,
Yeah,
so-
we had, so beginning of the month, we were averaging $1,500,000, $1,700,000, $1,800,000, and by, I want to say it was the 29th, we
Yeah.
hit 5.5 million. And then this past, first week of June, we've kind of tapered down to
Right.
high threes, low fours, I think thanks to the weather. But
I guess what worried me is that, we wound up shutting off water in August last year, and here we've pumped that much more already in a year that didn't feel that bad, so, it doesn't make me smile.
we're still aquifer-wise, fortunately, still
That's my
up
way
and
of
above where
asking
we
that.
were.
Okay, good.
I actually printed out a chart to bring to the meeting, but I left it on my desk.
All right. And my second item, I just wanted to mention for anybody to know in the public, the new Barnstable Aqua Fund, which is covering the low-cost loans for septic, as always, but also for connections to a sewer system. I read their recent newsletter, and they are now also covering loans for the installation of IAs, innovative alternatives. So, that's good for the world to know that if they are that interested in it, you can go now and get a 0% loan to put one of those in your own property and try it out, but answer a lot of questions for people, so that was good they added that. That's it.
All right, the only thing I would say is we really need to clean up your to-do list as far as what really is your responsibility, because with Phase 3 coming, with Route 28 coming, people have to start taking on what they need to take on, so, and if you need any emails or phone calls by me, let me know, because we can't be getting behind on this stuff.
I'm hoping that, Heinz, our natural resource director, is retiring at the end of this month. I believe or hope that they have advertised or will be advertising for his replacement. And it's my hope and expectation that when that new natural resources director comes on, I will be able to pass the Coldbrook baton over to that person.
All right. All right,
There's so much else too, though.
next meeting is the 22nd. We already have that done.
I got it done.
All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor? All right.
I want to show you guys